Residents in Okinawa expressed anger and strong opposition against the construction of a new U.S. military base in their prefecture. Carlo Dela Peña reports.
The people of Okinawa felt anger and disappointment over the insistence of promoting the construction of a U.S. military base in the region. Local continued to resist and object to the Japanese central government's plan to build the U.S. Hinoko base, and they had expressed this by filing an appeal to the Supreme Court of Japan twice. But on September 4th, the Supreme Court again rejected the Okinawa prefectural government's appeal against the central government's plan to build the U.S. Hinoko base. It can be remembered that Japan and the U.S. agreed to move the Futenma base in Okinawa to the Hinoko area of Nago City as early as 1996. And this relocation required land reclamation and 2 new runways. Okinawa accounts for 0.6% of Japan's land area and more than 74% of the U.S. military facilities in Japan, and more than 70% of their military personnel are concentrated in the said prefecture. 107 lawmakers from 24 municipalities united to set up a voluntary group and convened a press conference in Naha City to express their anger and disappointment to the decision of the government.
決についてはそもそもが沖縄県の県民っていうのは辺野古に対して県民投票だったり県知事選挙でノーだと辺野古に新基地は作らせてほしくないという思いを訴えてきたそのことをやっぱり最高裁は見ずに進めなさいと県に対して言ったということは非常に残念だなというふうに私は思っております。
Zukeran Chofu, a lawmaker from Nanjo, said that the people of Okinawa are angry at the construction of the Hinoko base, and the people had clearly expressed their opposition in the prefecture voting and prefecture governor election. The lawmaker also said the Supreme Court ignored the will of the people of Okinawa and instead urged the prefecture to promote the U.S. Hinoko base. In February 2019, Okinawa Prefecture held a vote among residents on whether to approve the construction of the new U.S. military base in Hinoko. As a result, more than 70% of residents expressed opposition. And in April 2020, the Japanese government requested the Okinawa prefectural government to change the design due to serious problems, such as soft soil, were discovered during the construction process. The Okinawa prefecture government said that the technical problems were difficult to solve and asked the upper level to stop the construction and appeal to the Supreme Court of Japan. However, the Supreme Court ultimately rejected the Okinawa prefecture government's appeal. Takayama Yuzo, a lawmaker from Nago, said that they raised technical issues, but the Supreme Court ignored it. The lawmaker then accused the Okinawa Defense Bureau of abusing the Administrative Complaint Review Act, which he said was created to assist individuals. According to the lawmaker, this caused the Okinawa government to lose its lawsuit against the Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism.
技術的にも問題ありますよということを訴えているのにもかかわらず、最高裁の判決はそこに全く触れられてもいないんですよね。いない上に行政不服審査法という、本来は国民、私人を救済するための仕組み、これを沖縄防衛局という個人、行政組織がですね、使って乱用して国土交通省に沖縄県のですね、この不承認をひっくり返させるような。
Another lawmaker, Yumi Nakasone from Chatancho, claimed that the Japanese government has been forcibly promoting the construction of the new U.S. base.
私たちが何度民意を示しても日本政府がこうやって強行して新基地を建設しているっていう歴史が今まさに刻まれていると私たちは思っています。で、もう今まさにこうやって民主主義が破壊されて、そして国が沖縄に強行してきている、そういった歴史を作っている中で、それでも沖縄県民は諦めなかったという歴史を私たちは作りたいと思っています。
Reporting, this has been Carlo Dela Peña, SMNI News.
The top officials of China and the United States met in Malta for what both parties call as substantive and constructive talks. Kai Villan has the details.
Senior Chinese and U.S. officials held multiple rounds of meetings in Malta on Saturday and Sunday, agreeing to maintain high-level exchanges and hold consultations on Asia-Pacific issues, maritime affairs, as well as foreign policies. The meeting was held between Wang Yi, director of the Office of the Foreign Affairs Commission of the Communist Party of China's Central Committee, and U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Both sides said they conducted candid, substantive, and constructive strategic communication on stabilizing and improving China-U.S. relations. Wang, who is also a member of the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee, emphasized that the Taiwan question is the first red line that must not be crossed in the China-U.S. relationship, and the U.S. must abide by the 3 China-U.S. joint communiques and honor its commitment to not support Taiwan's succession. China's top diplomat said his country's development has a strong endogenous driving force and follows inevitable historical logic, and it cannot be stopped. The Chinese people's legitimate right to development cannot be deprived. Both sides agreed to continue to implement the important consensus reached at the Bali meeting between the two heads of state, maintain high-level exchanges between the two sides, and hold China-U.S. consultations on Asia-Pacific affairs, maritime affairs, and foreign policy, and discussed measures to further support and facilitate people-to-people exchanges between the two countries. The two sides also discussed the situation in the Asia-Pacific region, Ukraine, the Korean Peninsula, and other international and regional issues. The talks between Wang and Sullivan come ahead of a possible meeting between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Beijing in October. To recall, on September 1, Putin said he expected to meet Xi soon, although he did not explicitly say that he would travel to China again. Meanwhile, Wang is expected to lay the groundwork for Putin's visit to Beijing for the Third Belt and Road Forum, after an invitation by Xi during a high-profile visit to Moscow, Russia in March. Reporting, this has been Kai Vilan, SMNI News.
Before traveling back home to North Korea, its leader Kim Jong-un brought with him parting gifts given by Russian. Kim Montana has the details.
Before traveling home, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un received parting gifts, including a body armor and a set of drones given to him by Russian governor. Kim recently concluded his 6-day visit to Russia, wherein he met with Russian President Vladimir Putin, held various inspections, and visited Russia's Pacific frigate last Saturday. Russian state news agency TASS reported that before traveling back to North Korea, the governor of the eastern Russian region of Primory gifted him a bulletproof vest, 5 attack drones, and 1 uranium-25 aircraft reconnaissance drone. Russia also held a grand farewell ceremony in Vladivostok, complete with a red carpet and honor guards. Meanwhile, Dmitry Peskov said that Kim and Putin did not sign any agreement during their talks. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Ken Montana, SMI News.
NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg expressed certainty that Ukraine will ultimately become a member of the NATO alliance while discussing Ukraine's aspirations for NATO membership. However, the West must prepare for a long war. Sigrid Castañedas reports.
NATO's leader Jens Stoltenberg says that the war between Russia and Ukraine won't end quickly. He warns the West to prepare for a long war in Ukraine despite claiming to want quick peace for the said country. In an interview with Funke, a German media group, Stoltenberg said most war lasts longer than expected when they first begin. Therefore, the West must prepare for a long war in Ukraine. Ukraine tried to fight back against Russia in June, but didn't make much progress. Media reports over the last few weeks cited Western officials and military planners saying that they have considered the Kyiv's counteroffensive will not succeed, leaving the front lines mostly unchanged as winter sets in. Meanwhile, the UK worries that Russia might use missiles to attack Ukraine's buildings this winter. To recall, Russian President Vladimir Putin claimed that Ukraine lost over 71,000 men since their counteroffensive started in June of this year. Meanwhile, Stoltenberg claims that if Ukraine stops fighting, it might not exist anymore. But if Russia stops, there could be peace. It can be remembered that in October 2022, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky issued a decree banning all negotiations with Russia. And Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba in August said that Putin and Zelensky will never be able to see each other at a negotiation table. Reporting this has been Sigrid Castañeda, Azamana News.